So I go on, my people. Welcome to another radio Zeet. You wanna guys. Thank you, number one. Thank you for the subscribe and them know your Zeet. Alright, so this news feed is coming from news.ontario. And one of the reasons why I'm reading this is because of investment, guys. Remember, this is an investment channel. We don't just invest in crypto, we invest in land too as well. So we know that Timmins is an up and coming city, right? We know the people who know Timmins know that Timmins was a thriving city back in the 80s and the 70s and them thing there, right? Timmins were known for gold, and a lot of people were migrating. A lot of immigrants from Europe, especially, were going there and immigrated there to settle there. That's where most of the jobs were at the time, especially Italians. So when all of that start running out, all those opportunities start going away, then the people start traveling south to Toronto to settle, right? All right. So what's going to be happening? What are there certain infrastructures in Timmins that need to be updated, such as the highway, such as the transportation like bus and train back in from Toronto to Timmins, right? That needs to be connected. Toronto to Timmins needs to be connected. Sorry, that's how I told my dog. That's how I tell my dog to be quiet. Making noise over there. So, anyway, as I was saying, so one of the I a couple of years ago I looked at ways that London, Ontario could grow, and I saw that the 401 run right through London. And I was like, you know what, a couple of years from now, because of trades, when the population start growing, because of trades from Mexico to the United States, to that highway that connects from Detroit to Mexico, and then Detroit to Windsor, and then Windsor to Toronto. It runs right through London, right? So that alone, as people start finding opportunities, as opportunities like jobs and education and everything start infiltrating the the land, right? People are gonna be migrating because people follow opportunities, and here are the trades, right? From the new businesses start growing up. Entrepreneurs start, flexing their muscles and starting up their businesses. And of course, price of everything is going to start growing up. But if you didn't get in early when everything was cheap, you're going to be faced with this price, right? So, guys, I say all of this to say this. Timmins is another up-and-coming city. Yes, it's far away. It's in the northern part. What? The northern part of Ontario doesn't mean anything. So when you go on your map, if you go on your Google Earth or your regular map, I rather Google Earth, but if you go on your regular map, right, and you go to, I wish I can do a video where one day I probably do it. I was thinking about it where I can show you on Google Earth what I'm talking about. So if you go on Google Earth and type in the city of Timmins, and then you scroll down, zoom out a little bit, scroll down south a little bit, expand the map, you will see a highway that runs from Toronto, which is the 400 that's going north. So Highway 400 that is going north, right, into Barrie. Aurelia, all those places, right? So it passed all the way. It's the same highway. It changes its name, its title. It's the same highway that goes through Sudbury. It's the same highway that goes through from Sudbury to Timmins, right? From Barrie to Parry Sound, from Parry Sound to Sudbury, from Sudbury to Timmins. That same highway run right through Timmins. It goes and it kisses the 655 that continue north to Smooth Rocky Falls and Cochrane, city of Cochrane, and all these places. And then but before it goes and kisses that highway, to meet that highway, that's what I meant. It meet the highway, 655 highway. Before it meets that, it goes right through the city of Timmins, right through the city, not off or not close to. It goes right through the city of Timmins. You can either make a right and come back down to Toronto, or you can make a left and go over to what's the place called? Sault Ste. Marie, Sault Ste. Marie, onto the west side. You go left, Sault Ste. Marie, the city over there is another up and coming city. It connects. You can go over to Michigan if you want, from Sault Ste. Marie. There's a bridge that connects America to just like Windsor and Detroit, Sault Ste. Marie, and Detroit is big, I guess, right? Detroit, Michigan. So that highway now wrap around Sault Ste. Marie, comes all the way south back to Toronto. So you see what I'm saying? Despite the distance, it's just like Montreal. When you're ready, you go to Montreal, you go party, you go to church. I don't know what you do there. You go shopping, you go sightseeing, you go eat some food, you go relax. Somewhere different that you can go and visit. Some people go there and fall in love and want to go move there. I like the climate in the north. I'm not going to lie. As much as it's cold in the winter, I don't like that part. But in the summertime, there's no humidity. There's no humidity in the summertime. None. So we're here in the south facing all this crazy ass humidity. We can't ever breathe. Sometimes I love summer. I love the sunshine. I'm a sunshine baby, man. I'm a summer baby. I'm a summer cat. You know what I'm saying? I'm a summer dog. No, I'm not a dog. I'm not a dog. I'm a summer guy. You know what I'm saying? I was born in the summertime. So I love the summer. But there are times in the summer times I'm not going nowhere. I'm not leaving the space of my I'm not leaving my air conditioner. What? To go in what? Humidity. There's so much humidity. The humidity is crazy here in the South Ontario area. Right? When you travel up north, 6 hours up or 8 hours up, there's no humidity. It's fair. It's cool. It's fair. It's beautiful. It's nice. The sun set at 10:30 in the evening, in the night. Sunset 10:30. I used to hear people say this, and it always sparks my curiosity to want to go check that out. I finally get the opportunity to check that out. I was so oblivious to the fact that I looked at the clock and it was 10:20. And I look outside and the sun was still shining. It was starting to set. But I was like, wow, this is crazy. So anyway, after all of that chatting and talking, I say all of that to say, guys, because I try to keep up with what Doug Ford is trying to do, What Doug Ford announced a long time ago, that he was going to be fixing up the highways that lead from Toronto to Timmins. He also said that he was going to be, the Ontario government was going to be looking into the trains that connects Toronto to Timmins, right? For trades, for people moving up, for tourism. You know me, I said, Timmins is nice, guys. Go check out the place. Go travel. Everybody just bulk up in Ontario, causing congestions and all these things. Go out, man. Move out, spread out. Timmins is nice. You hear that? All right. Hopefully when you hear that, you see it. So let's dig into this article. I actually, because I've spent so much time talking, I'm just going to scroll down to the part where you mentioned Timmins. Okay. I passed it. All right, here it is. So, in this section, Doug Ford is basically, so Premier Doug Ford shares New Year's greetings. So it basically starts off and says, as we turn over the calendar to begin a new year, it's important to take a moment and reflect on just how far we have come over the past 12 months. I've been so proud to see the Team Ontario spirit on full display as people of this province got back together and back to business. As Premier, I am particularly proud of the progress our government has made implementing our plan to build Ontario. Our government passed a new legislation that will help achieve our goal of building 1.5 million homes over 10 years. This next step in our plan will ensure cities, towns, and rural communities grow with the mix of housing types they need, so that more families can realize the dream of home ownership. This is the part where you mentioned Timmins. We have made real progress in building highways, transit, and other key infrastructure. We started construction on a bridge crossing over the future Bradford bypass and awarded contracts to build the southern portion of the Ontario line and to design and supply the Ontario line fleet of trains. Have you ever read and while you're reading you're thinking of something else? That just happened to me. Slow me down. Distract me, man. Focus, Dwayne. Anyway, so we are purchasing 3 new train sets to bring back northeastern passenger rail services connecting Timmins to Toronto, unlocking the full economic potential of northern industries, resources, and minerals. You hear that? I'm happy that he's sticking to it. You talked about it before, Doug Ford. You talked about it before in your first election, and you did nothing. Maybe you were laying down the infrastructure, right? And there's legislation there, right? So now he says that the legislation is passed. It's set up now, right? Our government passed new legislation that will help achieve our goal of building 1.5 million homes over 10 years. The next step in planning our plan will ensure cities, towns, and rural communities grow with the mix of housing types they need, right? So people, families can still have dreams of owning houses, right? So I'm on going to saying we've made real progress in building highways, transit, and other key infrastructures. People, if you were to ever drive north past Sudbury, that highway, that 2-road highway on each side turned into one. It's like as if the government of Ontario forgotten about the northern people of Ontario. That's what it seems like. Expand the highways, them man. You know what I say? Rebuild the trains. We want to go and travel throughout Canada. Canada is a beautiful country, by the way. We want to go and travel. There are a lot of us that wants to go and travel through Canada and check out Canada. See what is there to offer. There's so much more. We are purchasing 3 new train sets to bring back Northeastern passenger rail service connecting Timmins to Ontario, unlocking the full economic potential of northern industries. Really? I want to see this, Doug Ford. Please put in the infrastructures that are needed for people to build their lives and to build their businesses and to see their dreams of ownership come true. Please stick to your promises. The expanded Highway 401 from Mississauga to Milton recently opened and is already helping to relieve gridlock. That is true. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, because that was really annoying to drive through that part of town to get to where you need to get to. It would take close to hours to get to where you need to get to. With that expanded, with them wide out the highway within that area there, that is really helpful. So our government will never stop working for workers. And he continued. So I don't want to get into any of this else. I'm scrolling down through the screen so you can go check it out yourself. I just wanted, every now and then I look up what Doug Ford plan is and how far the government of Ontario progress is when it comes to the development, the infrastructure development that connects Timmins to Toronto, Toronto to Timmins, Timmins to Toronto. Right? All right. Sorry for that. I'm still in bed for some reason. All right, so we scroll down so you can go ahead and check out the article if you want to. And this article came out January 1st. I didn't see it then. As I said, I'm just doing my research to try to figure out what's going on. Are there any more updates on the connection to Timmins to Toronto? You know what I'm saying? I'm a big supporter of open cities. You can see the highway running right through Timmins that connects to the 655 that continue to the Trans-Canada Highway that takes you all throughout Canada, right? You make a right from that highway there before it hits a 655, and it takes you right around back down to Toronto. You make a left from the same highway. It goes to Sault Ste. Marie, Sault Ste. Marie. I think I don't know if I'm messing up that. I don't know. I need to hear someone pronounce it. Right? And from Sault Ste. Marie, you can go to Michigan, or you can make that left and come back down back to Toronto. You see what I'm saying? All right. You see the investment opportunity that is in Timmins, right? Right now in Timmins, you can get a house for under $200,000. If you were to get a house in Timmins for over $300,000, that's coming with a couple of acres of land. Well, some of them sit on water. Guys, investors, open up your dome, man. Think. Land is a good investment, especially in the up-and-coming city. Look at London, Ontario, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, London, Ontario, you could have get a house for under $200,000, a condo for under $100,000, a condo apartment for under $50,000. A trailer park you could have get for $20,000, $24,000. Now, a trailer park is almost $200,000. A condo is in the $300,000 range. Some of them, because of more luxurious condos are starting to be built, is $400,000. A townhouse condo is brushing $500,000. Some of them in the mid $400,000. A regular single home is now like $600,000, $700,000. That was under $200,000 10 years ago, guys. And why? What caused all this change for price to go up? Opportunities, jobs. It was cheap here to begin with. People not going to live in a city that is cheap and no opportunity. How are they going to pay their bills? How are they going to send their kids to school? How are they going to realize their goals and their dreams? Once the jobs start moving here, people are swarming right now, still to this day. So we need to start using our heads. Where next? Which city is next to be developed? Which one is next? When you go north, you notice that I'm talking about price now. The price of land and houses on your way up to Berry is still reasonable. It's reasonable for who though? For the person who already have money is reasonable for that person. But for the person who doesn't have and may have a little change in their pocket with them come up with, they have a lot of money in the pocket that they want to invest, that area is too much, I would say. But it's up to you. No, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's up to you. I'm not giving no financial advice here. I'm just trying to paint a picture. When you go through Berry, the further up north you go, the cheaper it gets. When you pass through Sudbury and Perry Sound, when you pass through Perry Sound, those areas right there are reasonable for me, for people, for everybody. When you go through Sudbury now, you know you can get a house in Sudbury for under $400,000 that sits on a private water. What? May I tell you? I went through this. I did all the research. I can show you. All right, so here I know. You continue going from Sudbury up to Timmins. Then you're in gold land. And it's literally a gold mine, because back in the 70s and the 80s, when the immigrants used to come over here, what do you think they were digging for? They were digging for gold and minerals and resources. That Timmins was the booming city. Timmins was the city that most immigrants would go to. They would bypass Toronto. They would bypass anywhere south and go right to Timmins, because that's where the jobs were. And as soon as the jobs start moving out of Timmins, of course the people are going to follow the companies, because that's where the jobs are going. Why stay in a city where you can't grow, you can't live? Right? So they're going to follow the opportunity, the resources. And what happened now? The land start going down because people are moving off of it. Right? Hence, why I say, use your head, guys. Use your head. Timmins is the next city. Timmins is the next major city right now to explore. Timmins is cheap. Timmins is cheap as dirt. You remember Sarnia? Sarnia was cheap as dirt. I remember one time I went to Sarnia one summer, and Sarnia looked like a ghost town. You could buy a house in Sarnia for $100,000 or $100,000 in Windsor. Now that's no more, because the people that are moving to London are pushing people more west, giving people more incentives to go out more west. So people are traveling and buying up land and buying up houses in Windsor and Sarnia. All of the southern areas are starting to be very expensive. When you look at Sable Beach, when you look at Goderich, when you look at Kincardine, when you look at Grand Bend area, when you look at Pinery area, when you continue to go up to Sable Beach to Tobermory area, all of those areas are $1 million houses now, because they sit right on water. All those cottages that used to be $300,000, $400,000, they're all $1 million now. You can hardly find land there anymore, because everything is in 5 or 6 figures. Nothing is in 4 figures no more, as it used to. So you know what's going to happen? It's going to force the investors that used to invest within the 4 figures, because you have to know your level. You know, you have to know your lane and your level. Can you invest 4 figure? Are you going to invest 3 figure? if you're in the 4-figure level or the 5-figure or the 6-figure level, if you're in the 6-figure level, of course, you can still invest in the Southern Ontario. But if you're in the 5-figure and the 4-figure level, I recommend looking in the northern area, in the middle of Ontario, in the northern area. It is so cheap. It's like as if they're giving away land and houses. So if you have the mere means, you don't even, for our first-time home buyer, you don't even have to live in the city. You can buy the home and rent it. It's so cheap. You can buy the home for less than $10,000 down payment. As a for first-time home buyer, it's 7%. So it's like, what is that? $7,000 for $100,000 for a house that costs $100,000. You're paying $7,000 down. You get the home, you get a cheap ass mortgage, and you rent it out. And now that I'm talking about it, that's not a bad idea. I might do that in the future if prices remain the same. I might do that in a couple of months from now. Why not? It's just $7,000. Well, then again, I'm not a first-time home buyer, so that wasn't applied to me. But I'd probably get one of my brothers or my sisters and be like, hey, do this. Here's the down payment. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, guys, thank you so much for taking your time to listen to me talk about the development and the future money, the future city. I'm trying to figure out what to title this video. You know what I'm saying? The Timmins, man. The opportunity are endless for Timmins right now. Because you know why? Any cities that you see that are full of crime, that lack an opportunity, but it still has a vision for beauty. Like you go there and you're like, wow, I see the potential. This city is so beautiful. If it wasn't for the crime, if it wasn't for the lack of opportunity, that's the city that you need to invest in. As soon as you see the potential in that city, but for some reason that city is a piece of crap right now, sorry, right? The city is not booming right now. That's the city you need to invest in because it's cheap. And it has potential, right? So anyway, take care, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll see you in another one, man.